I forgot to play the video, Carol Ann.
You did. I was just thinking that. It's like, okay. Do you want to
No,
play it
that's
now,
okay.
or are you gonna leave
No,
it?
that's okay. That's okay.
Uh,
Forgive me. I forgot to play the video. So, like I
yeah.
said, we are here at Nkosi Talk Shows. If it is your first time, please subscribe. And we talk about all subjects from all walks of life. With me today, I have is Carol Ann Cooper. Over to you, Carol Ann. Please introduce yourself to our audience.
Lovely. Thank you, Nomsa. And
I'm sure everyone knows who you are now.
yes, Caroline. And for those that are new, welcome to the show. And I'm here in London, UK. So it's afternoon here right now. But as the writing facilitator, what I do is I support women in getting their story written by connecting them with their deeper innate ability to write. But more importantly, they experience free flowing writing. They experience an unlocking of the writer within and getting their story written, because you cannot publish what isn't written. And all of this has come about through my own journey of unlocking the writer within. So that's me, Carol Ann.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Carol Ann. So our topic today is how to keep your cool when everything seems to be going wrong in life. So we all have a picture of how we would like our lives to be. But what do you do when things keeps going wrong for you to go into that picture where you want your life to be? So what do you do? Do you give up or do you keep going? So we'll be talking about it today, the things that we have to use for us to keep going in life. And if you have the things that you use or ritual that you use for yourself, please feel free to type and just get involved into the conversation. So over to you, Carol Ann. What made you choose this topic?
Oh, yesterday it just came to me after um, I got really angry and upset and about something that was happening. And I was on a training last night, and I was supposed to have had a set of questions that had refreshed so that I could answer them. So that it was like reviewing the past 30 days so then we can plan for the next 30 days. And I'd already asked in the week, when are these questions going to get refreshed? So we've got a new set rather than having our old answers still there. And it's like, oh, it'll be there for the meeting, on Thursday. It still wasn't there. And then we got to the meeting and I heard somebody had got theirs already. They'd actually spoken to someone. That immediately set me off thinking, how could they speak to that person and get it done? you know. And then there's a couple of others. They got theirs. It was sorted, but a lot of people it wasn't. So then they were giving us a link to go to just do it as a Word document, which we could email to them, and they would then update our answers into this software that we've got, this application. And I couldn't access that as well. And I'm just really making everything wrong, thinking, oh, this is a waste of time. I've been asking for this, And my inner child was wanting to cry. And I just became aware that I was answering things in a really angry way, which wasn't helpful at all. And so I just calmed myself down and just thought, hang on, just recognize what's going on here. And I just wrote on my paper how I was feeling, what was going on, what I was thinking. And then we were put into groups, into our accountability groups, to then talk through. And somehow my laptop decided it didn't want to play ball. So I kept getting kicked out of Zoom. So I couldn't be part of that discussion. And I go, okay, so my energy has just created this. And I managed to get in for a bit to get, have a conversation. But then when we were back into the main room, it was fine again. My laptop was working. And it's like, oh, this is crazy. But when I let all of that go and we finished the meeting, and I just went, had something to eat, and I came back and I got a message from the tech support. She's absolutely amazing lady. And she said, oh, I've got your questions up. So I've managed to get them up there. Check. So I checked. I said, no, they're still not there. And then a bit later, she said, check again because I can see them. So I just refreshed everything. And it's like, yay, they're there. And I was able to put my answers because I'd already written my answers down on paper. So I'd already sort of worked through it. But I could have so easily have just shut down completely and not done anything. And as it is, it's now done. That's what I was able to do it quickly, get it done. And it's something that they're still working on with the people that run the software. It's a glitch. This is something that they need to work on. But I've realized that my energy doesn't help by going into that strop, by making angry accusations. It doesn't help. It doesn't move you forward. It just holds you there and you don't get the job done. So it is being able to recognize what you're doing. And so I thought last night that, oh, what a great topic to talk about. How to keep your cool and everything seems to be going wrong. And this morning, just writing it down, there's a few things that, other times when this has happened. So I'll bring those in as we talk, but it is being able to recognize that you're in that space of losing your cool and what it does. And I found a beautiful quote this morning. It's take a deep breath and remember where you are right now isn't where you're going to end up. And I thought, that's by Joe Duncan. I just thought, what beautiful thought. So it's just stopping, breathing. And again, as I always say, bring yourself to the present because you've gone somewhere. So what did you think when you saw this topic? Because I said, yeah, I loved your response. Oh yeah, that's a great one. So what's your thoughts? I can't hear you.
Okay, I love the topic and I love the fact that you're saying when you were doing the meeting, everything was going wrong. So if it has not happened to you, welcome to the club. For me, it's happened so many times where I will send an email and I don't get the response, and the other person at the other end, they have not received it and it's gone somewhere else. And I'll keep chasing and thinking that they are ignoring me, but the email is just gone somewhere else and it has not been received. And I think a few days ago, I did as well a business review and filled all the documents. It took me an hour, maybe 15 minutes. And after I finished, and I sent the document over where it's meant to go. And when I checked my email, because when I attach the attachment, I always open it to make sure that I've sent the right attachment. So when I opened it, I saved the document. Not really saved the document, saved the blank document. They actually, the one that I filled it in, I didn't save it. It disappeared. And then I've realized actually I'm gonna have to do it all over again. So I was like, and then I got a phone call and they were asking the document. I was like, you know what? I think I need to take one more day, take a break from this document. I will redo it again because I've realized that I've lost the document. And it's one of those things that sometimes where you try to fix things and things will keep going wrong. But what do? You have to regroup, and you have to know that whatever the plans that we have, that we think we have, and we don't know what's happening behind the scenes. And if you are going to succeed, your life is going to be tested. And
Yeah.
it will then up to you whether you're gonna stay down or you're gonna basically get up and push yourself and have that faith. And for me, basically, and also I did the other document with my tutor, and I sent the document. And after I sent the document, he was like, because he was like, oh, um, and then he basically did something, and then I got a phone call from uni, and the guy who was like, are you able to start? And I was like, hang on a minute, I am supposed to submit my work in the 27th of April, and today is the 2nd of April, is the 7th of April. I have 20 days. And my tutor asked me to send something, and I have not sent it, but I'm okay. It's okay for me to take time. And I was like, I work as well. And he had gone and told the student thing that maybe I need help with the time or put my module on hold, on default and stuff. And I was like, what? Why? Why do I have to do that? Just because I have not sent the document or whatever is going on, it doesn't mean that I have to give up. I don't have to give up. So it made me realize that actually just and when he said that, because we were communicating, I just ignored him. You know, when somebody is saying negative things, you just ignore them. So I just ignore them, because for me, my basically was to send, my plan was to send the document that he wanted. But I think he just assumed that I needed more help, more assistance to create goals or to make a plan, whether if I'm busy with work, we can put it. So I was like, no, that's not what I want. So, and then I was like, it's one of those days when things just keep going wrong and wrong and wrong.
Oh, and it is, it's lovely because it's actually remembering that everything is temporary.
Yeah.
Even this, and however long that may be, but it is only temporary.
Yeah.
It's not going to carry on forever. Yeah. So
nothing is permanent. Everything is just, if you look at successful people, Carol, and we get to read how much they are worth online or whatever, the magazine that are being published about whatever is going on, but we don't actually get to see what they go through. So it tells you that every person has to go through something for them to get to where they need to go.
I love what you were saying about you don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You're being tested. And there's a quote, but it's by an unknown person. Sometimes we're tested not to show our weakness, but to discover our strengths.
Yeah.
And I think that's a beautiful way of putting it. I thought, oh, yes, because it is through these tests that you find your strengths. So it certainly isn't about giving up. It's about keep going, because you never know when it's that next test is the one that tips it all over, that you suddenly become successful.
Yeah.
And it's like these people that suddenly appear successful overnight. It isn't an overnight thing. It's just that they've broken through that barrier where they haven't been seen before to already suddenly being seen and achieving what they want. But as you say, you don't know what went on behind all those years, all the tests they've had, all the things that they've had to overcome to actually get there. You don't hear about that. And so, yeah, it's certainly keep that in mind when you're being tested. And there was there was something else, and it's not going to plan. I had something in mind, and it's like, okay, never mind. And then there's sometimes a bit of silence, and it's just breathing in that silence and going, okay, there was something I was going to share here. It's flown out the window. Let me pull it back and it will come back. It's this beautiful quote that says, keep calm when things don't go according to your expectations. Beautiful things always meet friction. And this happened on Monday night, where I was at a mastermind meeting, and I've been to other mastermind meetings that are run in a particular way. So I had some sort of expectation and was thinking, well, this is how it's going to be. And when it was explained how they were going to do it, I was going, it wasn't quite what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Very similar, but not quite the same. So part of me was going, oh, I don't get this. I don't, not sure. So I started questioning, and I was like, okay, I get it. I get where you're going with this. And then we were put into our groups, and I had a specific idea, something that I wanted to ask for support with. And I was the first one to sit in what they call the success, not the hot seat, where you explain what your business is and what's your challenge, what you want support with, what's your goals. And then the other people have an opportunity to ask a few questions, but to give you some ideas to support you. And I wanted some help with my marketing, and is going to put out, I've been suggested that I put out posts with questions which are related to writing and are related to my retreat, my writing retreat that I'm doing. So I just keep putting it, and I keep putting out different questions, just to spark the conversations, And I could only think of a few, and I'd had a conversation with somebody else and got a few more. But every time I was sitting down, my usual thing, I sit down, pick up a pen, and my mind's gone blank. So I thought, bring it to this forum and see what other people are going to ask. Anyway, the person that runs the group, he came into our group and started asking questions, and I felt like it suddenly went sideways. And because I shared what I wanted, and then the other people were giving other suggestions, and I'm thinking, okay, but I've done that. That's not what I'm asking about.
Yep.
And in that moment, I could feel my inner child again, wanting to cry and shut down and go, but this isn't what I'm asking for. This isn't what I'm asking for. But I went, okay, just listen, Caroline. Put that, but I know that away, and listen. Yep. And I just wrote down what was said, what the questions they asked me, because they were asking me about, well, where is it? What, where about the venue that I'm going to. Why did I choose that? And what we'll be doing there, and things like that. So I just wrote down, and someone else talked about planning, to create a plan to get there and everything. And I thought, okay. And then my time was up. And I just thought, okay, that was interesting. But I also got a great vibe from them that this was a great project, what I was doing. So, or event. Anyway, we all went back into the main room because this was on Zoom. And I was asked, did you get an action to take forward? And I went, well, no, I didn't, because I didn't get what I was asking for. I've done all of those things. So I didn't really get what I was asking for. And So the person that actually was organising the event, he said, "Oh, well, I'll give you a call in the morning because I'm the one that sort of sideswiped it, so to speak." So I said, "Oh, okay, thank you," and just left it at that. And we just continued then with everybody else's. Went back into the breakout rooms and did someone else, and until everybody had been done. And then, but a part of me had been thinking, "God, this is a waste of time. This is a waste of time." And again, I put that aside. That night, I went to bed with the thought, well, how did that conversation go so different? Clearly, it was like they went off in one direction and I was wanting to go in this direction. And I went to sleep with that thought. I woke up in the night and again it was going round in my head, about where they'd gone with the whole conversation and their thinking. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, but that's a question I could ask. That's a question I could ask. And questions started popping into my head. And so when I got up in the morning, I just wrote them down. And I think I wrote about 14 or 18 questions that were things that I had wanted from that meeting. So again, you never know how things can be sparked. And this is something that I found over the years, is just stay open to whatever you're receiving. It may not be what you're expecting or wanting, but just know that in there is exactly what you need. And so I was like, oh, that's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And then today I've had that conversation with a person that said he would, get back to me and we'll have a call and talk about it. I had a fabulous half-an-hour conversation, and he's just given me loads of other questions, but other ideas, and helped me to think about other aspects of this retreat and about my marketing and what I'd be doing. And he again was asking questions, and it was just amazing. It's just opened up another whole idea for me, so that I can be more specific about what I'm saying about this retreat. So I've just had, an amazing, beautiful outcome from this whole thing. And yes, it met the friction, but from that friction, look what comes out. It's just beautiful things do arise. So the learning there is just to stay open and listen to what is being said, make notes, and just say thank you. Thank you. And just allow your own unconscious mind to unravel and make sense and connect what you were wanting with what you were given. And you will get some beautiful answers. But it is just it's trusting the process. Yeah. So it's like, okay. So that's why I'm really happy this morning. It's like, oh, things are working out in amazing ways. So it's keeping you cool.
Yeah.
So how do you keep your cool? It's just recognizing when you're losing it, when that inner child is actually wanting to cry, stamp her feet. Just reassure her or him, and just say it's okay. Just we'll talk later. We'll resolve it. Just let's listen in. Yeah, just let's listen in right now. But it's being able to catch that and just hold it.
I actually like it, Carol Ann, when you say trust the process. Sometimes you have to trust, and also, when the information is being repeated to you, you don't know. Sometimes I find that when I go back to the information and listen over again, I find that I didn't get it for the first time, but I thought I did. I find that I'm listening. If I listen to it for the second time, it basically gives me a deeper understanding of what is going on in that information. And
Yeah.
also, it's important to stay open to whatever you are receiving, like what you're saying, because you never know why that person is there, even if they are repeating the same thing. And you never know. It's like
Yeah.
I was talking to someone and they were repeating the same thing that I tried to do marketing in the past. And this person was telling me that you should do that. So I was like you, and I was like, I've done this in the past. Why it didn't happen? It didn't go my way. So I didn't dismiss it. I just listened to what this person had to say,
Mhm.
and I just put it down. And I was like, yeah, I will do it, which is fine. So you don't have to allow discouragements if you are going through something, and to keep it cool, you have to keep going, and you have to keep having faith, and also you have to learn how to go on and deal with problems,
Yeah.
because the problems come our way for us to learn to stop them, for us to learn to learn from them, and for us to they just problems don't just appear. They appear because there's something that needs to be sorted out. So you just have to keep it cool. I know that there is power. And for me, basically, I believe that when problems comes my way, I always know that there is power in the blood of Jesus. And I always know that if I believe, if I have faith, and keep doing what I'm doing. I don't have to stop what I'm doing. Sometimes there are problems that comes your way, and sometimes you just want to cry. I used to I want to cry, but now I don't. When I'm faced with the challenges, I'm like, okay, this is what is going through. This is what is going on. And I just have to keep going and basically find a way, find the people that are going to help me to sort these problems out. And there is no room for feeling sorry, for me to feel sorry for myself, or for me to call people and say, can you just believe what has just happened? But before, I would do that. But I don't have that time anymore for me to actually ring people and say, can you just believe? And I know that whatever happens in life, there is a reason why it's happening. And I've seen every problem that comes my way. I'm learning from it. I learn from the problems,
Mm.
and I learn how to deal with them. And I just have to stand in what I believe in. You can use your beliefs when problems comes your way. You can use your beliefs to actually solve the problems, whatever that beliefs might be. For me, I believe in God. And when things don't go my way, I always say, okay, my way is not working. So what is his plan? What do you have for me? What plans do you have for me behind the curtains? And I always say,
Mm.
show me your plans. If mine are not working, show me yours. And I will scream and I will shout, and the phone will ring, and somebody will be coming with a solution. So problems don't just come. So you just have to be somebody that you have to know the timing. Sometimes the timing is not
Mm.
ours. The time scale that we put, if things don't go according to our expectations, it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. And sometimes the delay that comes our way is not always the delay from the universe or the delay from God. I've heard the speakers, if you listen to Tony Robbins, you listen to Bob Proctor, they will tell you that you can design your own life. You can design the life that you want. Um, and yes, you can. You can design it. But if somebody will say no, they will try, some energy will try to stop you. So you have to be aware that there is a good energy. In that good energy that you are trying to use to design the life that you want, there's going to be another one that is going to say no. And just as a test to see how much do you want this? Are you ready to fight? Or are you just going to give up and say, you know what? I don't think I can do this.
Absolutely. And actually, what you're saying there, it's like they say that just by worrying, by being angry, by complaining, or even denying what's going on, all we're doing is trying to go round the pain of what's happening and when things are going wrong. But what we need to remember is it won't change the situation. Being angry, being upset, trying to avoid it, it's not going to change it. So I loved what you said about that prayer, putting up that prayer on my plans aren't working. What are yours? And handing it over and asking for that guidance and realizing that there is that higher power and that our timing is not always the same as God or the universe. That has its own timing. God has his own timing. And it isn't always as quick as you want it, and sometimes it can be quicker than you think it's going to be. And it takes you by surprise. It's like, oh, wasn't expecting that. So again, what you'd planned, all of a sudden it's like, oh, got to change again. So it's about being flexible, being open to the timing shifting and not being what you think it's going to be. And realizing, as you were saying, but there's lessons in there. And as Roy Bennett says, when things do not go your way, remember that every challenge, every adversity contains within it seeds of opportunity and growth. So there is that opportunity to learn, to maybe change direction, and to grow. Are there some skills that you need to learn in order for you to move forward with what you're wanting to do? And I remember my ex-brother-in-law many years ago, he was wanting to get, looking for some promotion, and he had some exams to take, and he needed to pass these exams, and he'd failed them. He'd taken them and he failed them. So he asked me to support him. So I did some work with him about revising and about taking these exams. And what he realized was that he'd managed to succeed by just there was one of the topics that he hadn't actually learnt. He'd learnt all the others and he'd used those, but he'd managed to get by without this one particular topic. And what he realized was that he didn't need it was no point in him revising it because he'd never learnt it in the first place. So he had to go and learn it to then be able to sit the test. So his obstacle there and his challenge opened up that amazing thought and realization that, what have you been getting by with and not using, that all of a sudden you're being saying, no, I need to learn this. And that's what he did, and so he sat down and learned it and he passed, and he was able to move on. So again, there is that opportunity for learning and for growth within that challenge, that bit of friction, that thing that, I can't get what I want, this isn't going how I want it. Again, stop, breathe, ask for guidance, ask for some support, and see what opens up. But that was that was amazing, and I've never forgotten that yeah, he was trying to revise something that he hadn't actually learnt. And so I wonder where maybe some of you are trying to do something that you haven't learnt the skills for, you haven't quite grasped it, or you've never come across it before, but you're attempting to do it and then wondering why you're not succeeding, why you're failing, why you're constantly coming up against this. Have a think. Do you have the skills? Have you learnt the basics of this that would help you to then move on with it, and to then be able to fly, you know. So yeah, that was a beautiful learning there in that bit of adversity, which, you know, again meant that he wasn't moving on with his job, you know, and he was then able to move on beautifully and succeed. So accept, accept, accept. Something I read this morning. Accept where you're at, because until you can accept where you're at and what the situation is, can you then start to ask the question, well, okay, what do I need to do to be able to move on? Because what I heard with you, Nomsa, is actually you've accepted that something isn't going right with your planning. You've accepted where it's at, and you've then put out that prayer and said, okay, my plan's not working. What are yours, Lord? You know, show me. And he will. You will get shown. And just then be able to move forward. So yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. So is there anywhere where you've maybe not had the skills you've needed and not realized it, Namsa?
Yes, sometimes the things, I find that sometimes when you make a decision and things don't work, sometimes it could be the person that you're working with, they're not aligned with what you want, or it simply is the training that you need to look back and go back and evaluate your path, where you want to go, whether do you have the training that you want to you where you want to go, and also change direction, like what you said, Carol Ann, and ask for guidance and support as well. It is very, very important to actually ask for guidance, and also to stand still, because when we want the results, we want them to happen now, but maybe it's not that now where the results need to happen. So just stand still and evaluating the process, and just be aware of your feelings and your thoughts and your emotions, because if you the thoughts that whatever we do in life, whatever we think, those thoughts become what basically law of attraction. They become whatever we think, it comes to reality. And if we are thinking that we are not enough, and we're thinking this is not going to happen, that it becomes that. So you have to look within and just uh, be aware of your thoughts, and be aware of the training if you need training, and then go back. I'm always basically doing the training, or sometimes I look at on Facebook. If somebody is doing the training, doesn't matter what it is, if it's something to do with the business and I've never done it before, I always put my name down. But it has to be somebody that I know, that because I don't know with you, I if you have ever registered for something and then you go and listen to it, and you don't connect with the speakers and stuff. Sometimes you won't be able to connect with people, and but there are people that you'll be able to connect with when they speak, and you're like, yeah, yeah, this one is speaking to me. So you have to be aware of yourself within, and be aware of your want and where you want to go, the path that you want to take. Do you have the skills inside, searching within? Are you able to basically receive? Are you ready to receive that success that you want? Or is there fear inside? So you actually have to search within and be aware that things will happen. And also, God works in a different way. The things that you are meant to get it, if your expectations is today, and his basically timing is tomorrow, he will give you the blessings that maybe 5 years, restore blessings that you lost for 5 years or 10 years. So it's just you have to believe. and have hope and faith and taking action. Hope on its own, it doesn't work. Faith on its own, it doesn't work. The prayers on its own, it doesn't work. So the prayer comes with action. You pray to God today and you say, God, help me with this. You have to take action as well, because God will be preparing to get ready to bring people to you. So you have to be ready to receive whatever is coming your way and people that are coming your way, and be ready to actually let them help you.
Absolutely. Be ready to receive
Yeah.
and welcome. And that's going back to what happened Monday evening. And these people that were there, giving me or asking questions and that, these people were there and these are who I'd been given. So again, it was being open to receiving who'd shown up and how those messages were coming through. And just trusting the process, because it didn't come out there what I wanted. It came out later, So totally be ready to receive in whatever form it shows up. Whoever shows up, is an answer to your prayer, and there is something to learn within that. And just remember, it's never the end of the world when things go wrong. You just need to keep the faith in yourself. As you were saying, Nomsa, know yourself, know your purpose. So keep going and stay strong. And if things don't seem to be going your way and you feel like you just want to give up. So like last year, I know I was questioning, is this really what I'm meant to be doing? It just felt like I just kept questioning. It didn't feel that it was in alignment with what I wanted or thought I wanted to be doing. And so I kept just asking, is this really what I'm meant to be doing? I love maths. I love helping with maths. Writing, really? Is it? And yes, I can help people with their writing, but is this really what I want? I love helping people move through stuckness, heal, and actually achieve things that they believe they didn't think they could do. That I love doing. Where did all this fit together? And so for a long time, quite, several months, I was going through this turmoil, and I'd get a few answers, and then a few other people would come to me and I'd work with them and get some answers. And it's only this last month that I've really felt clarity happen. And it's like, yes, I've got it. And it was just through a conversation with somebody who I nearly didn't connect with. It was the beginning of the year, and I was looking for an accountability buddy within this particular group. And this one person kept, someone's name just keeps flashing at you. And I go, no. And I kept thinking, no, he won't want to. He won't want to. But it kept coming back, and I kept looking for other people, and I keep coming back to this one person. So in the end, I did message him and said, would you like to be an accountability buddy? And he went, yes. And, he's turned out to be exactly the accountability buddy that I needed and I've needed. And, we still continue now to be accountability buddies. And we had a conversation last night. And it's like, oh my goodness, I still can't get over how, synchronistic it all is, and that where we're going with it, how we are supporting each other is just perfect. And it was something in the beginning that he said that helped me to realize that what I do is personal development through writing. He listened to what I was saying. He questioned the work I do and what I was doing. And all of a sudden, he just got it. He said, well, by the time when they've written their book and they've written their story, what you've got is an asset for your business. You've grown as a person. You've got more confidence with your writing, and you've faced your demons. He said, that's powerful. And I'm thinking, you've got it. You summed it up just in those 4 statements. He said, so what you're doing is personal development through writing. And then all of a sudden, it was just like, yes, I felt my worlds that felt so separate come together and made sense. And I was going, oh, thank you, Lord, thank you. So that's where I've grown in strength since then, and got more clarity. And I said, this last month, it's like, yes, this is it. I know what I'm doing. And yes, it is writing, and it is writing your story, specifically your story. People who've got a book to write, yes, I can support you with that. And what I'm focusing on is women who've got a story to write, their story that they're avoiding writing, but it is the one thing that they need to write, and they're being pushed to write, and it's like, I've got to do this, but I can't, because of the emotional aspect of it, because of the vulnerability that is there. But it is the one thing that will move their business forward in the way that they want, the one thing that will help make the difference in other people's lives, which is what they want to do. So I've stopped resisting this. Is this really what I'm meant to be doing? Going, okay, let's make it this tight. It's this story. And so yes, it is just trust the process. I keep saying, keep going with it. And people do come into your lives. Don't resist them. Don't block them. Trust that inner guidance that that person is here. Yes, that is the person that is here to support you now, to help move you forward. So and there's lovely something else I read. Remember, bad times don't define you, but your approach does. So it's not the situation. It's about how you deal with it. It's your approach to it. And that's what will shift things, forward. So yes, keep staying open and just differentiate between what you can do and what you can't do. And sometimes we keep focusing on what we can't do. But I can't do that, and I can't do that, and I can't do that. Okay, so if you can't do that, what can you do? Just recognize when you keep saying, I can't do that, I can't do that. And just stop and say, okay, but if I can't do that, and I can't do that, and I can't do that, what can I do? And all of a sudden, you just shift your perspective. And we had a conversation a few weeks ago about this, about change your perspective, change your life. And it is as simple as that. Just asking a question. If I can't do that, what can I do? Change your perspective and things will open up, because all of a sudden you can then start taking action. And it is in the actions and the movement that things change. And it all just then starts to melt away. And you're then, there's a beautiful, today is the day that, it's about, it's a beautiful saying. That doesn't help you right now because I haven't said it. It's like, today is the day you were worrying about yesterday. Today is, or something, but today is the future you were worrying about yesterday, and all is well. Something like that. Yeah. And I'll have to look it up and find it, because I think that's a beautiful thought. You're in today. Well, yesterday you were worrying about it. It was the future, but now it's here and everything's okay. So, and again, the timing, it may not be as short a time as that, like yesterday and today, but that time frame It could have been a few days ago, and something that you were worrying in the future, but it's here. You've got through it. And that's the thing to remember. Celebrate, recognize the small changes, the small movements forward, as well as the big movements forward. Celebrate and just acknowledge it and go, yes, I've done this and I've done that. And by focusing, again, it's that shift of focus and celebrating when you do manage to shift something, you do take a step forward and what opens up. So what have you got to celebrate about? What little things have you managed to do, Nomsa?
I'm always celebrating every little things that I do in life. I'm always celebrating, like you say, bad times don't define you. Is the response. When you respond, how you respond to that situation, and whether you change the situation. And you spoke about basically you had to define who you want to become and who you are becoming, and you realize actually, and writing is a therapy. Basically, when you are writing, basically it gives you therapy. I've written so many times, like when I'm going through something, I'll just write down, and it comes down to basically I'm giving myself therapy. And also, you know, when you are doing something, and you have to understand every delay that comes your way, comes to your life. There is a reason for it. When there is a delay, you just have to know that instead of giving up or saying, I don't think I'm good at this, you have to basically search through within why there is a delay. And if you have to change direction, like you said before, change direction, or maybe it could be inside of you, because everything is within. There's so many things within, and you just have to discover who you are as a person. So many things that can cause a stronghold within, or if you are dealing with people in business that you feel that you don't trust 100%, that can cause a stronghold. So you have to look at the people that you are surrounded by. Are you surrounded by good people? Your environment as well, and make sure that and be aware that in order for you to succeed, you're gonna have to climb the mountains after mountains. And knowing that God doesn't know, never give a person a mountain that he didn't believe that this person will not climb it. It's up to you that will talk yourself out of it. But when the mountain is presented to you, God always believes in you, that you are learning something. He always believes that you will climb that mountain and you will succeed. Then it will be up to you whether do you believe in yourself, do you believe it could be business, do you believe in the products that you're selling. So you just have to believe it and just keep going. There were times in my life where I just realized that I made a discovery about myself that everything that I do in life is all comes down to the beliefs that I have. It all comes down to the love that I have within inside of me. It all comes down to my thoughts and the abilities for me to be able to get up in the morning and do the things that I said I will do, and also to believe in myself and believe that I can do the things that I said I will do, and also being surrounded by the right people. I've seen people coming into my life, they come and go, and some people will say negative things, some people will just come for a second to give me, deliver the message that I need at that moment to help me climb the mountain, and they are gone. So you're gonna have to know that every problem, that when things go wrong, that means there is something good in it. And instead of staying there, feeling sorry for yourself. You just get up, meditate, whatever your beliefs that might be. You get up, you meditate, and you use whatever your beliefs to get to where you need to go. For me, basically, I meditate, I pray, I read the Bible, I claim the promises that are written in the Bible. I basically have not been applying, so I think I need to start applying the blood of Jesus in everything that I do, or before I do things. I need to start doing that every decision that I'm making, but I do fast. If things are not going well, I go to a time where I just need a time between me and God, basically to search within, because I might be doing things that are thinking that they're gonna move me forward, but they're not gonna move me forward. So I just have to use my beliefs to get to where I need to go. And believe, I fast, I pray, I read the scriptures, and I take action, and I seek help. I don't give up. I keep going. If I've learned something, I just see whether there's something that I've missed, and I just keep going. I don't give up. Give up is not in my books. And I am also aware of the people that are coming into my life causing destruction. I'm also aware. I don't know, have you ever, I don't know if you have ever looked at your situation and you are asking the universe, or you are asking God to help you get out of the situation. And then you will find that there will be something, a distraction that comes your way that wants you to focus. For me, when I have a problem, I don't shift my focus to something else. I have to focus on solving what is going on. If I have really have problems, anything can wait. I need to sort this problem out. By the end of the day, there will be a solution for me to sort it out. And I have to focus. I've learned to finish it. Whatever I'm doing, I have to finish it. If there is a problem that is going on, I have to solve it. I have to make sure that it's solved and move on with my life. That's how I work. And is it easy? No, it's not. You have to be disciplined. And sometimes if I have, as a Christian, there are some things that I have had to give. I have had to give them up, because I've realized that there's some things, that characters that don't go with what I want. And as a business person, there's some things that you have to give up. When everyone else is going out and they're celebrating, you're gonna have to stay at home and make some plans and to solve the problems and do other things, and then go and reward yourself and say, okay, I've done this, then now I'm going out.
Yeah.
So
I love what you've just said, that it's focusing on, I'm going to get a solution. And sometimes you just have to face what is happening in that moment. Sometimes you've got no other choice but to face it. Well, I guess you could run away and hide, and then just let things take their course. But what's coming to my mind in particular is when my house got repossessed. It actually reached a point where it had to happen. I had to face that moment when there was that knock on the door, and I opened it to the bailiffs, to repossess the property. It's something I've been dreading, putting off, hadn't managed to avoid, but I had to face it. And it was actually in facing it and just having that conversation with him and just going, okay, so where do I stand? That things then move forward. And okay, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. What I thought might happen didn't happen. But I was able to actually face it and move forward. And then I was given 2 weeks with which I could get all my possessions out of the property. And I planned for 2 days to do that. And each morning, at the beginning of the morning, I was in the house and I literally prayed, meditated, focused on, right, what are we going to get done today? And I had a load of people, friends and family that came to support me. And I was just right, okay, we'll get upstairs done first, and then tomorrow we'll do downstairs. And so literally I directed them. I said, all right, you in that room, you do that room, you do that room. There's his boxes. Label the boxes, which room this stuff comes out of. Just box it up, you know? And was literally focused through the whole day. Let's get this out, get it into the storage where it's got to go. And the same with the next day. I started the morning with a meditation and just a prayer and got completely in touch with what needs to happen today. Because if I hadn't been focused, if I'd completely lost it, I wouldn't have cleared that house and got my stuff into storage in those 2 days. You know, so again, like you were saying, it's having that focus, that single-minded focus on what the problem is, what you need to do, and just keep and taking those actions until it's sorted. And so I got everything out that I wanted to get out into storage, into wherever it needed to go by the end of those 2 days. I was just like, wow, you know, how did that happen? But it was through focus, but also through meditation and prayer, asking for that guidance and support, being grateful for the support that I was given, and also for the person that had to sit outside in his car all day to wait while I did that. You know, it was one of the bailiffs people. They had to sit in the car all day and then they would lock up again at night to check the house through. But, you know, he sat out there all day, bless him. So I was grateful to him as well. And grateful for the experience now because I've learned such a lot from it. So I'd just like to leave everybody with this beautiful quote by Henry Ford. When everything seems to be going against you, remember that the airplane takes off against the wind, not with it. So I'd just like to leave you with that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Carol Ann, and those who are watching as well. And for me, basically, I leave you with if you are going through something, problems after problems. Like Carol Ann said, problems don't define who you are. Use your beliefs to get to where you need to go. The universe is ready to help you. And God is ready to help you only if you have the courage to ask. Instead of picking up a phone, calling people that you know that they're going to listen to your problems and they're going to make you feel sorry for yourself. Pick up the phone and call somebody that you know that is going to help you to move forward. There are so many people that are going through so many challenges, stress, depression. Some people are going through abuse, dating the wrong people. Some people, businesses are not going the way you want them to go. Some people basically, you make business deals and the money, you lose the money. I had an interview with someone who lost millions and millions. And just know that there is a plan. God has a plan for you. Use that belief. The universe, anyone can call the universe. For me, I call God. Say, what do you have? If you can find this house, sometimes Martin goes, Nomsa, can't you pray like somebody, like normal people? He tells me to pray like normal people. But when I do want the results, and I just want God to hear me. I don't take no for an answer. If I'm going through something and I really, really need him to show me the way forward, the only way for me is to cry out. And he will show me the way forward. And the way forward is sometimes it's not necessarily the way that I expected. So live with grace, everyone. We are here Monday to Friday. Have a beautiful weekend. We are here Monday to Friday and 1 p.m. UK time. If you want to get in touch with our coaches, please do. And don't wait. Problems will always be there. Just get in touch or even a free consultation to find out your story. Please do. God bless.